Mexico pushed back. I don't know. Maybe in China. Okay. So that's the Cybertruck. I found this amazing video, guys, of Yahoo Finance. Okay. And we don't have to watch all of this. But these guys hate the fact that the Cybertruck is going to do well. They hate the design of it. It's actually quite amusing to watch. Let's
Well, it appears the engine is finally revving at Tesla after sputtering out several times over the past few weeks. The famed Cybertruck, pictured here and in dormant state, which was announced back in 2019, is finally launching in Austin, Texas this afternoon. The impact on the company has investors wondering, with our next guest saying it will undoubtedly be a halo effect across the Tesla brand. So let's bring in Autolist Editor-in-Chief David Underkoffler to discuss more. David, okay, I continue to just be, have my, bottom jaw just kind of slack-jawed every time I see this thing on screen. And this Cybertruck. So what are the expectations by the end of the day today? Will people be blown away, or will this be perhaps a nothing burger if they can't get the price and the delivery correct?
I'm going to go for the third option and go right in the middle of the road. I don't think anyone's going to be blown away. I think everyone was blown away when we first saw it. It's a very striking, dramatic design. So there's no surprises there. The production version looks largely like the concept we've seen for a number of years. But I think what everyone is curious about are like the meaningful metrics, right? Like you said, price. That's going to be everything to a lot of buyers. We also don't know things like range of this vehicle. We don't know if it's dual motor, tri-motor. There was talk of a single motor originally, but that's probably not going to happen now. We don't know payload, the truck metrics, right? Payload and towing, we don't know those yet. And horsepower as well. So I think there's a lot of sort of the nitty gritty details that really sort of make this, popular. People are looking to find out today.
When it comes to what makes it popular and who is actually going to be out there buying this Cybertruck, I know you've been digging into this. What did you find?
Yeah, so we at Autolist, we run an annual survey every year, gauging consumers' interest in electric trucks. We ask them sort of a hypothetical matchup of all the ones that automakers have talked about. So not just what you can buy today.
Check this out. Autolist did a survey, and they asked EV popularity on truck. Toyota Tacoma EV, Ford F-150 Lightning, Chevy Silverado EV, all beat out Tesla Cybertruck. Last comes in Ram 1500 REV. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me move my fat head. Let me shrink my fat head. Okay. So, first of all, you guys know I talk about surveys a lot on this stream. Without knowing methodology, you cannot put any meaningful weight in any surveys, right? You don't know what the user base is. You don't know what their bias already is. You don't know who you asked, who you didn't. But let's see what he has to say about Cybertruck coming in third on this survey.
That would be Ford and Rivian and the Hummer truck, but also models that are expected. So that'd be models from, like Mary Barra was just talking about, the Chevy Silverado, there's a Ram version coming, an electric Toyota Tacoma. We paired all those up and said, look, car shoppers, which seems most appealing to you? We've done this for a number of years. This year, the big winner was Toyota Tacoma overall.
This is like asking, do you like candy or do you like leprechauns? One of these things exists. The other one doesn't.
If there's an electric version, and again, this is hypothetical, but an electric version of that truck had a widespread appeal. So to people who owned trucks previously, who had never owned a truck, to different sorts of age groups, that sort of was the main overall winner. That sort of kicked the Ford F-150 Lightning out of the top spot. Previous 2 years, we'd seen a lot of enthusiasm around the Ford. Now you can go buy the Ford. So I think the novelty has sort of worn off that truck. And then the Cybertruck definitely was the winner among people who had owned or currently own an EV. So EV owners are very enthusiastic about the Cybertruck. I think there's a big audience and a lot of potential there. And then also younger buyers, Gen Z, were the buyers who definitely favored the Cybertruck overall.
I mean, but it comes down to financing too. I think especially even for Gen Z, many of them, my gosh, the kind of age range continues to elude me.
Makes you
perhaps
feel
a little
old,
bit.
doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
really does. It really does. And I was trying to be really generous to myself there. But at the end of the day here, it comes back to how much, even at different kind of consumer cohorts, they're willing to spend into an experience where you're still waiting for there to be this broader investment that's starting to take place in a charging network at the end of the day. Does it feel like there's confidence around the existing network in order to buy into an EV experience right now?
The short answer is no. You know, we, in addition to this electric truck survey, we at Autolist also poll every year just a broader EV survey. We've done that for a number of years. And both of these surveys, year over year, it's the same three reasons that people are concerned about EVs. It's the price of them over an internal combustion version of.
If only there was a company, and hear me out, this is quite, I mean, I think I'm onto something. If only there was a company that built the world's largest EV charging network ever and is growing faster than ever and was letting people in to their charging network. If only Toyota knew about that.
Of that vehicle. It's the range that EV can travel, and then it's also where am I going to charge it? And the charging is becoming a more critical pain point for consumers. You know, infrastructure is still lagging. You know, we're seeing some investment both on the private level and then a public level in that, but it's still not solving you know, consumers' pain points of like, look, maybe I'm on board, you know, in theory with an electric vehicle, but if I own it, I don't know where I'm going to plug it in. I don't know where I'm going to charge it, and that's a huge.
Okay, bias aside, making fun, poking fun aside, look at this chart. It's percentage, so it's EV share of a percentage of new vehicle sales. And check this out, it's from JD Power. In September of this year, 2023, EVs were 9% of all new vehicle sales. I'm guessing this is just America, JD Power, right? 9% of all cars sold in the month of September 2023, 9% were EVs. That is massive, massive. To give you context, if you look down here, you know, let's say 2021, beginning of 2021, kind of the EV craze was hitting us, right? 3% in the month. 9%, folks, like the compound growth of EVs. Now, of course, this is a function of both car sales coming down and EV sales staying where they are, if not growing because of Tesla. The market sucks other than Tesla. But 9%, so 1 out of 10 buyers of any car in the month of September was an EV buyer. Insane, actually.
Concern for consumers of all ages, not just Gen Z.
David, going back to the thought that we played in the intro, the soundbite there from Mary Barra, the CEO of GM, and our colleague Brian Sazzi asked her about the Cybertruck, and she didn't really brush it off. She said that she always has her eyes and closely tracks anything that competitors are doing, but she did reiterate, to no surprise, that she's very confident in GM's lineup of EV trucks. How big of a threat do you see the Cybertruck as a threat to some of the more traditional automakers and their lineup of EV pickups?
Oh my God. She just asked. I'm going to repeat it. It's just that nuts. I'm not going to watch this entire video. She just asked, how much of a threat is the Cybertruck? How much of a threat is the Cybertruck to the other legacy truck EVs out there? Look, folks, I picked this video because I was like, it looks kind of funny. Like, you know, we got some data in here. It's from Yahoo Finance. I don't think I can finish this video. This is actually crazy. Like, I don't even know. I might just end the stream.
I don't see it as a big threat in terms of outright sales, right? Like Mary Barr was very clear, and they know their trucks. It's something they've been succeeding at for decades now. Even as they're shifting to electrification, I think they're pretty confident in maintaining a pretty strong user base. So I don't think it's going to steal sales necessarily, but I do think it's going to force people's perceptions of what an electric truck can be. It's going to force automakers to evolve their interpretation of that. I mean, that's what Tesla did, you know, famously with the Model S. Electric vehicles 15 years ago were not sexy, they weren't aspirational, they weren't luxurious, and the Model S came in and sort of shadowed all of that. And so I think you may see some perceptions shift a little bit as a result of the Cybertruck. I'm glad it's out there. It's a refreshing take on trucks, but I'm not going to go out and buy one. So I think automakers see it as potentially something that kind of, it's going to evolve kind of what consumers may expect out of their vehicle.
This is still a company that has two mystery machines that have yet to be unveiled here. And if you take a look at some of their Investor Day materials from earlier in the year, essentially it's just kind of a Casper the Friendly Ghost type of cloth over type of it. How much does this Cybertruck also set up the introduction of those vehicles, and does that make or break what that looks like in the fanfare?
That's a good question. I think this Cybertruck, it sort of sets the tone for Tesla and sort of the future of the company. I don't think, though, materially it's going to have an outsized impact on sales. I mean, it may have like a halo impact on maybe the share price a little bit, but in terms of sales, I've said it before, the bread and butter of Tesla are the Model 3 and the Model Y. And there are updates, pretty significant updates expected to each of those vehicles in the near future. So I think
Insane. Look, this chart matters. This chart really matters, okay? As one would say. So this is the global electric vehicle battery price forecast, right? This is from Goldman Sachs, not Kathy Wood or ARK Invest and as bullish. But check this out. So in 2023, the dollar cost per kilowatt hour is currently 160-ish bucks. It's projected in 2030 to come down under 80, okay? Under $80 a kilowatt hour for an EV battery. Now, this matters because of penetration of the market. Now, a lot of questions in the chat about the $25,000 model, or we're going to get that soon, announcement. Like, this is it. And this is why I picked this video before the Mary Barr question.
I think, they're going to look a little different. There's going to be potentially some different battery technology, potentially the range changes on those vehicles, and then the price as well. So I think those changes to those vehicles does a lot more sort of broadly and holistically for Tesla, for its sales, for its share price, kind of overall. That's where you kind of need to look. The Cybertruck is, I don't want to call it a distraction, but I think it's more sort of icing on the cake rather than kind of, what's underneath. That's the Model 3 and Model Y.
All right, David Underkoffler, always great to get your insight. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
I think what we learned from this interview is that Mary Barr is still leading the way. For some reason, and I think Sawyer pointed out this amazing point that I'm gonna leave you with because I think it's quite important that we share in this. GM stock price in the last 5 years is down 6.72%. Oh, hold on one sec. 6.72%. GM stock price is down. In the last 10 years, 2013 to today, GM stock is up 25% in 10 years. Since 2015, since 2015-ish to today, GM stock is down 5%. Mary Barra has been